NBA is the league where being big and tall makes the difference. The average height in the NBA is 6'7", and the average shoe size is 14.5, according to the research conducted in 2013. In this video, we'll go over guys who are above that average and cover the largest shoe sizes in NBA history. Kevin Durant, size 18. Normally a small forward with the handles of a shooting guard, KD is as tall as a center, with his slender frame standing just shy of 7 feet with a 7-foot 5-inch wingspan. Durantula is the epitome of long. His feet are not the exception, and when this picture started circulating the internet, everybody realized that Durant's feet look like 2 giant hockey sticks. Still, KD is extremely agile, and his movements are so graceful that if you didn't know, you'd never know that he's wearing center-like size 18 kicks. Dwight Howard, size 18. When Dwight Howard transformed to Superman and won the 2008 dunk contest, I remember noticing his white Adidas shoes shining bright in the air. It's gotta be the shoes, as the old saying goes, and I immediately wanted to buy them, thinking they would propel me to jump higher and finally be able to dunk. However, I realized that I'm not an athletic 6'11" freak of nature wearing size 18 shoes like Dwight. 12 years later, I still didn't dunk, while Dwight is still going strong, playing great as a role player for the Lakers. I'm guessing the secret is not in the shoes after all. DeAndre Jordan, size 18. Another defensive ace, rebounding machine, and a terrible free throw shooter, DeAndre Jordan's Lob City days were quite similar to Dwight Howard's time in Orlando, sans the finals appearance. Just like Dwight, DJ also put his feet in size 18 shoes. An all-time career leader in field goal percentage, Olympic champion, all-star, and one-time Brandon Knight murderer, DeAndre and his shoes have had a hell of a career. He even managed to improve his free throws and became a respectable shooter from the line. JaVale McGee, size 18. JaVale McGee is the Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, a 2-time champion with the Warriors, and one of the producers on Justin Bieber's newest album. As far as the music producers go, I'm willing to bet he's the tallest one in the world. JaVale's mother Pamela was a 6'3" power forward in the WNBA, and his father George Montgomery was a 6'10" center who was selected in the second round of the 1985 NBA draft. With this genetic combination, it wasn't a surprise that JaVale grew up big. Standing at 7 feet with a pterodactyl 7-foot 6-inch wingspan, McGee also has enormous feet. JaVale made headlines when he ordered Kanye to make bigger Yeezys, because he couldn't cop the popular shoe as they didn't make them in size 18. Yao Ming, size 18. The last member of the size 18 shoe club is the Great Wall of China, Yao Ming. Yao's feet garnered more attention than any other player on this list, but it wasn't due to size. It was because of the many foot fractures that ended his career prematurely. Still, when Yao was healthy, he was one of the best centers in the NBA. His 7'6" height was paired with excellent coordination, shooting touch, and feel for the game. We don't know this for sure, but he's probably the only Chinese man who wore size 18 sneakers, and is the only guy who makes other NBA centers look like regular people. Brook Lopez, size 20. Brook Lopez is mostly known for 3 things: being the brother of Brook, his big curly afro, and for attacking mascots in arenas all over the NBA. Robin is a 7-footer and a proud owner of gigantic size 20 shoes, which many mascots who have been kicked by him surely know about. Robin was a role player his entire career, and after 5 different teams in 11 years, he landed in Milwaukee to join his brother, who was the next person on our list. Brook Lopez, size 20. Brook and Robin are identical twins, so it's not surprising that they have the same shoe size. And even though they are almost the same physically, their games and personalities are completely opposite. Robin was always the loud and outgoing one, while Brook was more on the shy side, which is also represented by their hairstyles. Robin was always known as a great defender who doesn't need the ball, and Brook was one of the best post scorers for the majority of his career, and is the all-time leading scorer of the Nets franchise. After Robin joined the Bucks, Brook and everyone else took on some of his habits, to the despair of all mascots around the league. Bob Lanier, size 22. During his playing days, Bob Lanier had the largest feet in NBA history. Converse made size 22 sneakers just for him, which was a great marketing stunt, both for the player and the company. Lanier once said, "A lot of people can put both feet into one of my shoes." And if you wanted to compare his shoe size to some of his contemporaries, Wilt Chamberlain wore size 15, despite being 2 inches taller than Lanier. And Lanier wasn't just some Bigfoot guy. He was one of the best NBA centers in the 70s. Bob ended his career as an 8-time All-Star with 2010 averages, which is up to par with some of the best big men ever. Taco Fall, size 22. Taco is the NBA's current tallest player and is trailing only Manute Bol and George Murasan on the all-time height list. At 7'6", Taco's shoes look like a small canoe or a baby's bed. Agility and movement on the court have always been his biggest ailments. But because of his work ethic and a lot of practice, Fall became nimble enough to end up on an NBA roster. If it were pre-2001, when there were no defensive 3 seconds rule in the NBA, Taco would probably be the #1 pick, just because of size and 8'2" wingspan, which would block or alter almost everything at the rim. In the pace and space NBA of today, Taco was undrafted in 2019, but was later picked up by the Celtics. And despite limited court time, he became a fan favorite in Boston. Shaquille O'Neal, size 22. Before we start talking about Shaq, we'll tell you that the smallest feet in NBA history belong to Earl Boykins, a 5'5" NBA point guard who played in the league from 1998 to 2012. Boykins' shoe size was 9.5, and his most famous photos were next to Yao Ming and Shaq, who wore the biggest shoes NBA courts have ever seen. O'Neal's game was predicated on size, as he bulldozed through his opponents for the entirety of his career. Shaq's shoe size gained notoriety when he used one of them big dogs as a telephone during the 2005 All-Star Game. Diesel's footgear also looked ridiculous on Nate Robinson, who was shacked in a fool in those oversized kicks during Celtics practice in 2011. And if you think Shaq is ashamed of his feet, think twice. He was not afraid to show his big hooves to the entire world during one episode of Inside the NBA, for which his son Sharif publicly apologized.